all of a sudden we just hear a loud snort wheeze. Immediately we're like, that's got to be the big one.
Dude.
I mean, he snort wheezed like 6 or 7 times, and you could hear him crashing back and forth in front of us at like 60, 70 yards. And finally I got him look at the big buck, and I could see it. I'm like, oh, that's a really big one. The big buck is walking right at us, and he goes behind a cedar bush that's like 15 yards in front of us, and I somehow like leaned out and stuck my bow like through the branch. I ended up leaning out, and I settled my pin on him, and I kind of took my cheek off and looked to see if there's brush. I'm like, it looks like a little bit of opening, and it's probably like this big of a gap that I can shoot through. And I remember I'm just like, well, this is now or never.
Well, welcome to another episode of the HUNTXP Podcast. Johnny, this is episode 41. Did you know that?
Are you serious?
41. This is 41 for us.
No, I had no idea. That's phenomenal.
For some people, that's just like getting started, but for us, it's just kind of wild. Like we started this year and some months ago now. Took a little break between seasons, but we've been having a lot of fun with it. If you're new to the HUNTXP Podcast, maybe you're joining to listen to the Gone All Season guys. We're super excited to get into our conversation with them. We've been at this for about a year and a half, just trying to capture our experiences, Johnny and I's, in the woods. We started this podcast mostly because we like to hang out with each other and talk hunting. Mm-hmm. But we've gotten the opportunity to interview some awesome people, from social media hunters to people you might not have heard of before, but we have a connection with, and we're just tenaciously curious. And we love to hear hunting stories just because we love hunting and we love to learn from them as well. So if that interests you, if you like just joining in on conversations that are fun with good stories and great tactics to learn from, stick around, check out our library. But today's episode, we've been pumped for this one because we've been following these guys most of their season and got to interview Cole Booth last year before turkey season and have stayed in touch with him. So it's going to be cool to circle back with him and hear what they've been up to. But they've just been killing it this season. Pun intended, I guess, killing the deer this season, man. They've been crushing it. And we get to hear a few of those stories. But Johnny, what are you thinking about going into this one?
I'm really excited. I think we hit it off with Cole last year. It's been great to keep in touch. And we've got some connections as far as Wisconsin. And we've just been around some of the same areas, and really down to earth guy. Really excited to hear from Mac too, and just love what the guys are doing. And as you said, they had an incredible season. If you're not familiar, check out their stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. There's 2 hunts in particular that we want to talk to them about. We just want to talk to them about their season in particular, but there's 2 hunts. One was in the Driftless region. Mac shot this just killer of a buck, and I can tell from the video that he learned a ton. So we're going to be trying to draw out some of what he learned from that and just hear the story from him. And then Cole shot one from the ground, which is always just super cool to hear about. And we want to draw out a little bit what he learned from that too. These guys are great. They get after it hard. They have a lot of fun with it, and it's really fun to hear from them. So stay tuned for that. We're going to jump into that conversation really soon. But before we do, Johnny and I are prepping for a Q&A episode. So if you've got any hunting questions lingering from this season, we have responses for you. I don't know that we should say that we have the best answers.
We have responses.
We have responses. No, we'll answer your questions, even if you've been listening for a while. I know there's a few of you out there who've been listening to probably almost all these episodes. If you got questions about Johnny and I, anything's fair game. We're happy to be open books and answer questions for you. Gear related, hunting related, life related, faith related, whatever. Just throw it at us. You can DM us, comment somewhere, email info@huntxp.com. We'd love to hear from you, man. Well, let's jump into it. Well, Gone All Season crew, you're here. We got Mac and Cole with us. Welcome to the HUNTXP Podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us. We are excited to be here. Chat it up again.
Yeah, man. Cole's back for round number 2. Mac, it's your first time here, dude. Welcome.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk.
For our audience who doesn't know Gone All Season, which there's probably not few people who don't. You guys have had a killer of a season. If you don't know Gone All Season yet, go check out their YouTube channel and then come back. But you guys probably know Cole from the hunting public and then Gone All Season. Mac, tell us a little bit about how you came to Gone All Season and the freelance stuff you do. How did you get into the life you're living now?
So basically I got into Gone All Season, starting it up with Cole and our buddy Brett. And then Cole got an internship with THP and then kind of got the ball rolling from there. And then I ended up getting an internship with the Untamed, and I went down and joined Cole, and we hunted all fall last year. Actually, Brett came down too for, it seemed like 10, 15 days and hunted with us too. So we kind of have all had like internships with other YouTube channels, and actually Cole was working for the Untamed, then he left. I went and worked for the Untamed for spring, and then I left, and now I'm doing freelance stuff right now. So we kind of all started it right around the same time. I don't know what time frame that was, like 2020-ish, kind of like that spring when everybody had COVID and we had all spring off basically just to go turkey hunting, and we really kind of seemed like we kind of dialed in our filming. We were doing some filming before that, but we couldn't seem to get one on camera was the issue. So we ended up figuring that out, and yeah, it's kind of how it all started.
It's awesome, man. Okay, to start off, you guys, I've got what could be a tough question, but I would love for you to describe the season you've had with Gone All Season in one word, this last 2025 fall season.
Man, okay.
Mac, you got one? You go first, Mac.
I'm trying to think. I was going to say up and down. That's pretty cliche.
It's also more than one word, Mac.
Up and down. One.
You could say it all Southern like up and down.
I would say, man, I can't think of one word. Cole, you go.
I think I would say my word would be persistent, just because of kind of the season that we had to start. October was we hunted a lot of days and felt like we had no idea what we were doing. And I mean, then all of a sudden, like, it kind of just like, there was 3 bucks killed in one day between Mac, Brett, and Luke. And then I shot one 4 days later. And like, up until that point, we had a few close calls, but nothing super, like, there wasn't like a stretch of time where we were like really in deer. Like all of October, honestly, I couldn't have even shot a deer in October, doe or buck.
Wow.
Which was pretty frustrating, but we just kept going and eventually got ourselves in the right spots.
So when that's happening to you, Cole, are you just thinking like, wow, the October lull is very lullish for me, or were there other factors?
I think, I've thought about it a lot, and I mean, I don't know that I would change anything, but there's a lot of times that I was just like 50 yards off, which, I mean, to a certain degree, I believe that hunting has some luck in it. And sometimes stuff just doesn't go your way. But if you keep going, eventually you're just going to get lucky one time. And I mean, I feel like as a person that hunts a lot and is a decent hunter like myself, I mean, I kind of know like the general area deer want to be and places that are good. And then if you just keep going and going and going and don't give up and keep bouncing around, keep trying different strategies, I don't know. I feel like eventually it kind of just will work out. And that's what happened for us.
Totally. Mac, what would you say?
I would say my word would be arc, because the season was kind of like an arc. See, if you think about it like a movie, started off, we shot 2 pronghorns in South Dakota, which was like awesome. That was like late August. Then we roll into the Dakotas and really kind of struggled there, and actually ended up hitting a deer high. Filmed one of our guys shoot a deer high and ended up not being able to get that one. Then I was gone for a while filming stuff out in Montana, and then when I came back in November, really got to hunt a lot more. And from there, it started to just seem, for me, like in the areas that I was hunting, I was kind of hunting down by Cole there. And it seemed like the season kind of just kept on going up and up. And then eventually kind of figured it out when I ended up getting a deer on that public down there. So, yeah, I don't know. It was like, I probably it felt like in like a week. And then the rest of the season, when I came back to hunt with Cole in like October, like he's saying, I remember us sitting in the tree stand the one day, and we had watched like a spike run a couple does off this cornfield in this chunk that we called Kansas because it was just like all grass, like didn't look like a spot you'd want to hunt typically. But
Yeah.
we went down to the corner of this piece and watched some does run off some bucks, and we were like, oh, this would be a great spot. And we came back in there again and just had some struggles, like hanging stands and not seeing deer. And like Cole's saying, it seems like we just weren't getting lucky. We're like at any point one could just come walking by. Like we know there's sign here. There's definitely been deer around. So yeah, I'd say arc is just kind of like a story arc of the year, maybe.
I appreciate that perspective because at a passing glance of your guys' YouTube channel, Johnny and I are like, they freaking crushed it this year.
You guys did
but it's
crush
good.
it.
I mean,
Dude, November 10th.
Like, and it's just crazy. And you articulated this, but like for it to put in that much effort and then a day for it to all come to fruition like that must be wild as a team of guys who put in so much effort to be like, holy crap. Like you probably, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you probably get to a point where you're like, is anything going to come through for us this year?
Yeah.
Is this going to work out? Yeah.
I mean, we were sitting in early November and we're like, we've hunted like 40 or 50 times and I couldn't have shot a deer yet. Like what are we doing out here? Yeah. But eventually, I mean, like we just said, it a lot of the times it's just being in the right place at the right time. And the more you're out there, the higher your odds are of doing that.
Yeah. It's not like we were passing deer either. Like we're not really guys that pass deer, so we literally just hadn't had a good opportunity yet. My best opportunity was like 4 days before I shot the buck I did shoot and was like, and I just screwed it up. Like, but that gave me so much confidence going forward. And yeah, just all kind of happens in an instant.
I think what Cole, what you said there too, of like, there is a certain element of luck that's involved. I think most people who hunt would agree with that, but it's putting yourself consistently in positions to, create your own luck or to get lucky, if you will. And man, I just think for you guys, really starting to gain some popularity this year and filming everything. You guys have had experiences filming other, guys on social media. Was the doubt starting to creep in? Like, should we be doing this? Or were you like, no, this is the plan, we're sticking to it? Like, walk me through some of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely doubt that starts to get in your mind to second guess yourself. But I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just like, I have to go.
Yeah. Right.
Even the weather's bad, like I just have to go. Like, and if I'm going, I'm going to be filming it. I'm not going to the camera without a woods just because I'm not going to the woods without it. I mean, just,
love it.
You go, it'd be the one day you'd be like, I'm not going to film today. You go out and you just shoot a big buck. Would be what would happen. But I mean, I don't know. I think going with friends, like we always hunt together. I mean, sometimes we hunt alone, but a lot of the times we're together. So I think the positive attitude and just like having fun with it, even if we're not seeing deer, like we're always out there joking around with each other, having a good time, appreciating being able to go hunting. I think that's what makes it, when you're struggling, hunting with a friend is like great. I mean, you could go out there and just shoot the shit for an hour and a half and be like, oh, that was a pretty good hunt. I had fun. Weather was nice and I got to hang out with my buddy for a little while.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. Well, I would love to get into some of these hunts. It's refreshing to hear the effort that goes into it because that just makes it real. Like, I think people who breeze through your YouTube lineup be like, dude, these guys just, walk out in the woods and are successful. But it's so much effort. And I think people who do this, particularly people who try to capture it on camera, have an appreciation for your guys' dedication to produce those sort of, or capture those sort of moments, be in those situations. Mac, I would love to dive into your driftless hunt and that one. And I would love for you to tell us the story, break down the hunt. And you've already led us a little bit going into maybe what we don't see in the video, all the effort that led up to it. But walk us through it and point out anything that you weren't able to capture on camera or, maybe weren't able to fit in the story through the video itself.
Yeah. Okay. So basically when I got back from Montana, it was like October 1st, I believe. I got back on Halloween and was going to be staying down with Cole and had planned to hunt around there. And really, I'd never have hunted in the Driftless, like in the hills in Wisconsin before. Kind of grew up hunting in Sheboygan County and then up north in, some of that just big woods timber up there. So really didn't have a whole lot of experience in like big rolling hills like that. So yeah. And then I think I went and scouted like one piece and didn't really see a lot. I actually ended up getting permission on a farm. And so I went in there. My plan was to go in there and try to find a buck in there, and ended up being that there was like 5 or 6 different people hunting this piece, and it was not very much woods. It was like, I don't know, Cole, what would you say? Like maybe 60 acres of woods. And there was every day, it seemed like there was like 4 or 5 people in there. Like it was getting more pressure than a lot of the public. So I think I focused a lot on that, and I focused hard on trying to get one on that private piece because I thought maybe I'd have a better chance. There's probably more deer. You know, really didn't give the public a great chance. And then Cole, earlier in October, had gone around to a couple different chunks, and we had scouted a couple different areas. And he went into this one that he said there was a really good scrape down in the bottom, like way in the back corner of this block of public. And he's like, somebody should go over there because I think you were going to go hunt by your grandpa's, I believe, that day. You were going to go hunt somewhere else. So I went in there by myself and got back there, and it was so weird because like the wind was coming from the south when I'm up on the top, and then I get down the hill and I get in the bottom, and the wind is literally going up, like sucking up the opposite direction. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So like I planned the wind to be this way, but it's not doing anything like what I thought it was. It's like, whatever, I'll just go in here and I'll scout this and see what it looks like. And I ended up finding all those scrapes that Cole had marked and ran into a ton of turkeys, and I ended up walking up on a doe that was bedded. And then this was the first time I was in there, and I kind of saw her get up, and I think she heard the turkeys rustling around because they saw me and they were kind of putting and getting out of there, but she had no idea. And she kind of laid down, and I just kind of shimmied up a tree. Took me a long time, but I ended up getting up in a tree. I figured, well, there's a bunch of points that come off right here down into this bowl in this bottom. People would call it maybe a thermal hub for using words that hunters use.
Yep.
It's like that, but it's like that. And I knew this doe was right here. I was like, it's November 6th. Bucks should be running through here. If they know a doe's down here, a buck's liable to come down through here and check her and see if she's hot or not. And that's about what happened. I ended up seeing like 3 or 4 more does get up out of this bedding area. And then right at last light, a buck came through. I couldn't really tell how big he was. I was going to shoot him. He's like a 8-pointer, but it was broke off on one side or something, I think. And he pushed this doe off, and I grunted at him. And then he came back, and he circled like 50 yards going back up the creek. And then I grunted again at him. And then he came back and then just turned on a dime and came right at the tree. And I ended up drawing. If you watch the video back again, I was like halfway drawn back, and I should have just drawn earlier, but he caught me as I was doing this, and I got caught like right here, and I'm like shaking, and he's like looking up at me at like 5 yards because I'm sitting over this scrape, and I finally got it back, and then I kind of got my housing on the brown, and then he blew and took off out of there. But that gave me so much confidence that like what I'm kind of doing is somewhat making a little bit more sense, because up until that point, like hunting in those hills and trying to play the wind did not make hardly any sense to me at all. So then fast forward, I think I hunted at that private a couple more times. And then I ended up hunting in that bottom like 2 more times as well, like right in that thermal hub. Ended up finding a whole bunch more scrapes and had a couple more good hunts where I saw does. Never really had any more buck encounters. Oh, never mind. I did jump I jumped 2 nice bucks that were bedded on the hill overlooking the thermal hub. They kind of tore off and went deep into like the private. But up until then, that was the only thing I had seen. But I always, every time I would go in there, I would hear deer on that opposite hillside, and it was kind of like the farthest back corner of this piece. And I was like, I should just go up onto that hillside, or at least walk over there and see what it looks like at some point. So then basically on the 10th, that's what I was going to do. I was just going to walk in. I walked down and walked the creek down because my thermals, I remember that day it was a north wind, cold front on the 10th, and the wind was blowing over the top, and I figured the thermals would be sucking up out of the bottom and it'd be creating like this, I called it a vortex in the video, but that's kind of what it felt like the wind was doing. Like when I dropped milkweed in my stand, it would go straight up on this, right on the edge of this bluff. And so I get up onto this, I'm walking in there. It didn't really jump any deer. It had snowed, and I got up on this top, and it was real rough getting up there, like almost like a bluff. I kind of had to like climb rocks to get up onto the top of this little cliff. And once I got over the top, it was super thick. I was like, this looks great. Like there's definitely does and stuff bedding in here. There's a big CRP field to the north yet. It's like, this looks really good. So I walked down it maybe 200 yards or so, and was trying to look for some sign and ended up not really seeing much sign. I remember I found one small rub that had looked like it had been hidden like October, and then a small scrape that had been worked fairly recently. But I was like, well, I mean, I'm already up here. I don't really want to walk back down into the bottom. And so I just kind of picked a random tree right on the edge of this bluff. Like the cliff is right behind me, and got up in the tree, and within, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, I just heard thought I heard a grunt over in this thick stuff. And I was like, nah, was that a grunt? I can't really tell. And then maybe 5 minutes go by, and I just turn my head over there again and look, and I just see a beam go like this. I was like, oh, big buck. Holy crap. Like, and that's the biggest buck I'd ever seen in the woods before, especially in Wisconsin. It's like, holy crap. And so I had forgot my grunt call that day. So I tried burping.
That's my favorite part of the video. I love that.
Is it? Some people didn't like that.
Before. Really?
Yeah, there's some comments. The burping, I turned it off, whatever. But it works. I think it does work. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to argue against that. Yeah.
It definitely didn't ruin anything.
Yeah. No, it didn't. Yeah. Can't hurt, you know. I don't know if he heard the burping or if he heard me getting in the stand and he just was kind of like coming over to check it out, or if like I just dumb luck happened to get in front of him as he was going to cruise. Cause like I was saying, the reason I picked to sit there is because the wind's coming over the top in my face. And then behind me, the thermals are sucking up out of this drainage and everything is going like this above me. So I was like, this is really good. Like I probably won't get smelled here. And I figured if a buck's going to go and check those does down on the bottom, he's going to walk this edge so he can smell out everything down on the bottom and get the wind from up top. I don't know if that's my theory. I don't know if that's actually what's going on, but that's how it made sense in my head. That's sure enough, that's what the buck did. He kind of just walked out to this point. I don't know if he heard me grunt or not. And then he just kind of beelined right through this thick stuff and popped out at like 15 yards and walked right towards me, and ended up shooting him right between the shoulder blades at about 5 yards. Like he's facing pretty much dead on me. And I just shot right between the shoulder blades. And I think the only reason that I took that shot is because years ago, my dad had shot a deer or two that were like right underneath his stand. He just put it right between the shoulder blades, and both times the deer are dead, like within sight. There's so many arteries and veins and stuff in between the lungs, and the heart's right there. Like, and if you get a lung and some veins and, you know, using the right
Cut
broadhead.
Right
Yeah. I wouldn't try it with probably an expandable. I think there's some thick stuff that goes through there maybe, but I was using a fixed blade. So I was pretty confident that it would just blow right through him. And it did. It came out right below his armpit, and he ran down the hill and found him within probably 120 yards. Yeah. It was pretty surreal when I found him. Yeah.
Awesome, man. The video
all that season to lead up to that. Yeah.
That's so great. I have so many questions. The first is,
shoot.
where did
Sorry,
you
I feel
learn?
like I talked a long time.
No. Where did you learn the burp thing? Like I had never. The first time I heard it on a video, I was like, what was that noise? And then I was like, oh, he's burping.
I think I got to shout out my brother Kellen, because he can do a really good burp grunt. I remember we were hunting back in the day, like real long time ago, probably like before gas, and he started doing that, like burping.
There you go. There you go.
And I was like, oh, that actually sounds really good. So then we kind of all started doing that. And I don't know. I think it can work if you have the right conditions and you can make it sound somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. So at what point did you notice the vortex thing that was happening? And when did it click that something was going to cruise down that? Like,
as soon as I got,
was it just kind of like discovering it as you were going through it?
Yeah, I think like the second time I went in there, I kind of figured out that every time the wind was going a certain direction up top. So it's like this: if the wind's blowing up the valley, say the valley's running east-west. If the wind's blowing from the west, it's just going to suck, and the wind's going to be fast coming through there, like blowing right up the valley. If it's north and south, then it's going to be rolling off whatever. It's going to be coming that direction up top, and then in the bottom, it seems like it's going to be going the opposite and like maybe rolling up through there. And so I figured if I got one of those winds, like either a south or a north, I was just going to go up there and see what it was doing. And when I got up there, it kind of clicked, like, hey, what I was thinking is actually right. Like throwing milkweed getting right to the top of this crest, and it's just going this way and kind of going It's never dropping.
Perfect.
It's just going right how you'd want it to be.
Nice.
Yeah. Kind of a realization after a couple of hunts in there.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog's barking in the background.
All good.
The other, because you said this is your first time first significant hours put in hunting in the Driftless region. Anything else you picked up about the particulars of that topography that are in your tool belt now?
Yeah, I would definitely say like it seemed like some like deer probably are only use specific routes, especially right around there. There's a lot of areas that are just straight bluffs. So I'd imagine some of those areas kind of funnel deer. I don't think deer are going to walk through areas that are super hard to walk through. I mean, they're going to take the path of least resistance. That's what I've always kind of thought. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'd say that's the main thing I learned with the terrain. And also Cole and I had not a bunch, but a little bit of experience like with thermals when we were down in West Virginia last year, like kind of figuring out like what thermals actually do. Cause I think where we grew up hunting, we really never paid attention to them because they really weren't as relevant as they are in big hills.
I think what you said about using terrain and like the land funneling deer and whatever, I know probably most people understand this, or many people understand this, but I remember someone just laying it out so simply, someone that I kind of has mentored me in hunting over the years, but they were like, the land tells you where to go. Like when you're walking in the woods, the land is telling you where to go. Well, it does the same thing with the deer, because I remember when I was younger, a few times I'm like, oh, this spot looks awesome. It's like super thick and nasty, but the question would always be like, is there sign through it? Is there trails through it? Is there an easy way to get through it? And obviously I know for bedding, we want that stuff, but if you're just hunting travel routes, like the land tells you where to go and it tells the deer where to go too. So you got to think about that stuff and maybe not overcomplicate it sometimes.
Yeah. It's like that easy, simple spot that's like so obvious in your face. And then you kind of all of a sudden you just realize it. And it's like, yeah, this made sense. Like makes total sense why deer would walk right there. And yeah, I agree 100%.
I may have missed this in the video, but did you hit him the second time when you took the longer shot?
No, I did not. I had ranged that before I saw the deer. It was like 55 and I put it on him kind of out there, and I was shooting a newer bow, and I haven't practiced 50 much, but I figured I already had an arrow in him. Might as well keep shooting as long as I can still see him. And I've shot 50 with other bows. So yeah, I slung one at him and missed him. I'm not sure if it went high or low or what it did, but I think I might have hit a branch, honestly.
He probably would have tipped over right there in hindsight.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he might have.
He could have. Yeah.
I'm sure you just saying that,
just worked up in the moment, you just want to keep shooting.
Oh, yeah,
if you wouldn't have burped, he probably would have just fell over right there. I mean, there's so much to do about that, man. Well,
yeah,
I gotta say, just watching the video and the way that you edited that you brought the viewer through, and I don't know if this is something that you guys inherently have as a crew or that you picked up from THP or Untamed, but your ability to make the audience feel like they're one of your buddies sitting in the tree is pretty awesome. Like, and I hope that's affirming to you guys. I hope you guys are encouraged by that. And I think that's why the channel has grown a lot. And so I just appreciate the effort you guys put in the editing room, which I'm sure is your couch or whatever with your laptop. Let's not make it sound like Hollywood here, but the editing hours you put in and what you've learned to capture, it just really comes together great. So
we appreciate that. That definitely is what we're trying to cross as, is just average guys that enjoy hunting with their friends, which, I mean, we'd be doing the same thing if we didn't have a camera. So
right.
That we're trying to get across, I would say.
That brings a question in my mind about Gone All Season. What aspects of what you guys are trying to do really came through this season? And what aspects do you feel like didn't maybe come through or have yet to come through in the experiences that you guys have captured?
Yeah, I definitely like what you guys are talking about and like seeing what's like what we put out this year. And honestly, I think we'd love to put out more videos of us getting our butts kicked and struggling. But right now we all have other jobs that we're doing. So like one video a week, all we can do. And like, that's just the amount of content we could get out. Like if we could put out 3 or 4 videos a week. We'd love to do that. And we hope that at some point we can do that. It's like, we do have a lot of content where we're out there, and like, I think it'd be cool for people to see us like breaking down stuff, failing, getting busted, which happens more than we are successful. We get busted a lot, especially on the ground. But I think that's something that we definitely would like to show more of. And that's just a matter of having more time to edit and put out more content. And there's only so many weeks in a fall, and you're trying to hunt at the same time, and you're trying to do your own job that you have to do. So that's something we'd like to put out. And I mean, I feel like we did a really good job of like capturing the camaraderie, just like the way we've started to film. We just film everything because you never know when something's going to happen. Like, we just roll the camera. And a lot of times we end up with our 45-minute, hour-long clips. But if you're not doing that, you miss it by 3 seconds. And that's something that can make a video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned hunting from the ground, because it seems like you guys were making a concerted effort this year to push yourselves and challenge yourselves in that way that resulted in success, which was great. Jump into that. Hunting from the ground. What was that like this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it's them kill adrenaline. I mean, we love that show. And last year, Mac killed a buck on the ground in South Dakota last fall at like 2 or 3 yards. And then I ended up shooting a buck on the ground in West Virginia on the ground in mid-October last year. And like, I feel like that really was like lit the flame for us and like kind of gave us confidence that we could do it. We're not against hunting in a tree. Like, we still saddle hunt. I mean, when it makes sense, when you're in the woods, a lot of times it makes sense to get in a tree. It all depends on the terrain. A lot of like our decision versus ground versus getting in a tree is based on the weather, just like how much wind you have, how crunchy the leaves are, if it's rained recently. And it also is easier to ground hunt during the rut when the deer are kind of a little bit more oblivious. They're not as on edge. A lot of the times the bucks kind of just have lost their mind. But it also is a lot of failure, and it's a pretty steep learning curve about what you can get away with at certain times of the year. And I think we've gotten better at reading a deer's body language. And you can tell when they're like, they have no clue you're in the world and they're totally distracted, versus a deer that's kind of creeping through the woods on edge. You're not going to get away with as much. You're not going to be able to make a big move. But sometimes you're on the ground and there's a buck at 60 yards with a doe, and you can make as much noise as you want and walk right at him. And he's going to think you're another deer, because you can just tell there's something about their demeanor that's just like, I have no care in the world. I'm going to stick with this doe. And honestly, that's kind of what happened on the hunt that I had this year with the buck that I killed. Was that buck just completely had lost his mind.
Tell us about that one. Break down that hunt for us. This was in Sheboygan area and up piece you'd been at before, and you intentionally went in wanting to hunt on the ground, it seemed like.
Yeah. So it was at my parents' house, and we live on 30 acres. And that's where like I first started hunting, which is really cool. And I've only ever shot one buck there. My dad has managed to shoot numerous nice bucks. I shot my first bow buck there when I was 15, and I had not shot a deer of any sort since then. And I haven't hunted there a ton in recent years just because of travel and going to school, but I wanted to get back there. Ted and I actually had a really close call 2 years ago on the ground with a decoy at my parents' house. We just went in there one morning when we got back from a trip and stopped there and rattled the buck into 30 yards. And I just didn't get a shot off. And honestly, that was probably inexperience hunting on the ground. But yeah, Mac and I had decided we were going to hunt that afternoon behind my parents' house. And my dad had seen a really nice buck back there like 3 times. And he had seen him the night before chasing does. And it's only like a couple 100 yards behind my house. Like, you can kind of see my house from where it's at. But my parents' property is pretty cool because it's surrounded by a bunch of ag. But the whole property of my parents is like CRP marsh stuff. And it's all like bedding.
Perfect.
It honestly kind of looks like Kansas.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but we decided we were going to go in there, and we were just going to set up like close to where my dad had seen the buck chasing the does the night before, because the property is only like 200 yards wide. So there's not a ton of room to work with, but it seems like the does stay in there. And if one's hot, the bucks are going to be in there tight for a few days. We ended up getting up in a in like a ladder stand and just glassed it for a little bit and didn't see anything. And we're like, well, let's just slip down there, get set up. And we're just going to kind of hunt. We didn't have a set plan, I wouldn't say, but let's just get in there and we'll see how it unfolds. It was pretty calm that day, wasn't it, Mac?
It was really calm.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal ground hunting conditions, but it was November 14th. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
There wasn't a ton of trees we could have even got up in. So we pick out a cedar tree that we want to get to, and I start crawling in, and my dad has like paths mowed back there that he can like walk and stuff. Around one of the mowed paths, we're just gonna dive off of it and get into the cedar tree. And I go first, and I'm just going like super slow, like weaseling my boot through the brush. And eventually we hear a deer stand up right next to us, and we're like, oh God, here we go. And I mean, it stood up, and it was probably 8 yards away from us.
Yeah, it was a small buck, got up and kind of took a couple bounds.
Yeah, but it didn't really know that we were going so slow. I think it thought we were just another buck, and it ended up circling at like 15 yards, and it was just kind of bobbing through there. And it's in like the CRP grassy stuff, so it's making quite a bit of noise. And I'm able to get into the cedar tree, but Mac is still on the path, and the deer start coming around, and I just tell Mac, I'm like, just lay down. So Mac lays down the ground flat.
That's awesome.
And while this little buck is making a bunch of noise, I see another like 2-year-old buck get up in front of us at like 40 yards. But he's not looking at us. He's looking in the thick stuff, which is like kind of a predicted bedding area. And he starts like making a bunch of noise in there. All on this little buck gets like 5 yards from us. Somehow doesn't spook. I don't know. I quit looking at him. I don't know what he did, Mac. He just kept walking, I think.
He just kind of like peeked into the mowed path, and then I think he kind of saw me sitting there, but he just didn't really, like, honestly, he just didn't care, I think, and he just kind of kept on working up the CRP edge there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden that's going on, and we just hear like a loud snort wheeze. Oh boy. And I'm like, immediately we're like, that's got to be the big one. Dude. I mean, he snort wheezed like 6 or 7 times at this 2-year-old buck.
Wow.
And you could hear him crashing back and forth in front of us at like probably 60, 70 yards. And finally I got him look at the big buck, and I could see, I'm like, well, that's a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of stood in there, and he had to have, we never saw the doe, but there definitely was a doe in there. And he eventually started running the buck back and forth in that thick stuff. And all of a sudden, it probably went on 15 minutes, it felt like, that they were just chasing each other around in front of us. And at one point I looked at Mac, I'm like, should I grunt? And we both kind of thought, and we're like, let's just let this play out. Because we're so close, and they're up on their feet. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. We have 4 hours left.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I'm like on the right side of the bush looking straight ahead, so I can't really see to my left at all, but I can hear a deer coming to my left, and I caught a glimpse of it, and it was a smaller buck. The smaller buck is walking directly at us, like right to where the small buck that we bumped was bedded. 2-year-old buck comes, and he gets to like probably 3 yards, I would say. Like I could hear him breathing on the left side, on the other side of the tree. Like I could hear him just going, and all of a sudden the big buck just emerges out of the thicket and is just on a beeline walking right at us. And at this point, Mackie got right behind me in the cedar tree. So we were tucked in pretty good, and I had a ghillie hat on that I'd made with Josh on my way to Kansas last year. We both had ghillie suits on. So I had a hat on that I think was probably a saver in this. And the big buck is walking right at us, and he goes behind a cedar bush that's like 15 yards in front of us. And I draw, and when I draw, he's on an angle to come out to the right of the tree, and that's like a wide open, perfect footage, easy 10 yards. He comes at the bush, and then he cuts out left. And when he goes left, my bow is like caught up in a bush, and I can't get any sort of shot. And honestly, at this point, I mean, it was going on, and I don't know. I didn't really ask Mac if he was on him. He ended up getting some footage of him, but it was one of those situations where like, it's happening now, and if I have what I have, I mean, this is the first, it's a really big one.
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
This is a cool hunt. And honestly, like, I feel like we don't ever ask, like you and Brett and I never really ask each other, like, are you on them? It's more so of just like, we can feel like if the person's on them, like we kind of trust each other to just be on them with the camera, and kind of can feel when they're not on them. Like I don't know that I ever really remember asking, like, are you on him turkey hunting or deer hunting?
Yeah.
It's more so just like, well, you're on him there. And I knew
Yeah.
Mac was in a bad spot because he was wrapped around the bush from me, but he ended up getting him cutting through there. And I somehow like leaned out and like bent over and snuck my bow like through the branch. But he had seen the buck stopped and saw me, and he's at like, I think he's at 9 yards.
Wow.
I ended up leaning out and I settled my pin on him, and I kind of took my cheek off and looked to see if there's brush. I'm like, it looks like a little bit of opening, and it was probably like this big of a gap that I could shoot through. And I remember I'm just like, well, it's now or never. And as soon as I shot, it was just like, well, sounded great. Looked like it hit him great. And he was so wound up. He just took 2 bounds and he stopped, and we like jumped out from behind the tree to see where he's going. He just stopped and he was just looking back at us. And usually, usually when they do that, you're like, boy, that's never good if they don't go. But I mean, he just stopped there and he looked back at us and he just rocked back and forth and it just tipped right over. And then we lost him.
I think if for those who are listening, and if you haven't seen the video, you gotta watch the video, because the way you're describing it now, it's like that's how it plays out in the video too. It like you feel like I feel like I was Mac on the ground when he's laying on the ground, because I've been in that situation before, but it's like it's legit what it felt like. That hunt was so awesome.
Yeah. And it was so cool. Honestly, just being back where I started hunting and being able to shoot the biggest buck that I've ever shot. I mean, that's the biggest buck that I've ever had the chance of even being close to, which is wild. And I mean, it was the only reason I knew that deer was around is because my dad had seen him 3 times. Like, we never had a trail camera my dad never had a trail camera picture of him. The only picture we got of him was that day. But my dad had seen him multiple times before that. And that just goes to show, like, 30 acres. And my dad's got several cameras out, and he had never had him on camera, but that buck was clearly in that area.
Dang, dude. I perceive this like next level of adrenaline when you're on the ground that you guys keep hinting at. But how would you describe that to someone who's familiar with, it seems like this progression, like you get a rifle in your hand, you down a buck or a deer, and you're like, that was a freaking rush. And then you do that a few times and you're like, I'm going to get a bow in my hand and close the distance and spend a little bit more time with this animal, but I'm still elevated. And that's a freaking rush. And then there's what you guys are describing, being eye to eye with these things, being 9 yards away. Like what is the difference there? Like what is it that you experienced in real time that you think sets it apart from being up in a tree
I don't, there's like a different level of like, I don't know if it's like focus that you have when you're on the ground, or like you just kind of like, I don't shake when I'm on the ground, like close with the deer until after it happens. Like when I'm on the ground, it's like, I'm like in a different world. And I don't know if it's just because I've had the experience to be within bucks filming and hunting on the ground now, but it's almost like you're just kind of reacting on instincts at that. Like you're not even thinking almost. It's all kind of just instinct, and like you have a feeling about what you can get away with and the moves you need to make. Like when I'm in a tree, I shake like uncontrollably when a deer is at 30 yards. And I don't know if it's just having contact with the ground or what it is, but when I'm on the ground, I definitely like get a rush, but I'm not like shaking uncontrollably like I do in a tree. And I don't know, it's a weird thing. I don't know how to even describe it. It's just it's a feeling that's wild.
Yeah. It seems like when you're on the ground and like you have the ability to just completely be like in the moment with the deer, like, and you have to be like that. Whereas like if you're in a tree and you see a deer from 150 yards away, you got a lot of time to get nervous, and you can't move. Like you're just hoping that this deer comes by. Like Cole's saying with shaking, like, yeah, when that buck came in, I was in a tree and I was shaking my butt off. And then when Cole shoots that one on the ground, like I usually shake as a cameraman too, but I mean, it was like, just like, that's what we got to do. Like, boom, do it. Boom, do it. And then like, you just make these split second decisions that either work or they don't. And, that's kind of the rush of it. And then like, once you get the shot off, it's like, oh my God, like that's epic.
Largely because of I think some of your videos and, THP and others and Untamed, like watching those guys hunt from the ground too. I decided to do it this year, and I've traditionally been in a tree stand my whole life. But kind of speaking of what you said too, Cole, 30 acres, and your dad had seen this buck but never had a trail camera picture of it. Well, the property I was hunting, I was like, I see these deer here regularly, and I had 2 cameras, and I was like, I've never had a picture of these deer. And I'm always, my kids hunt now, my boys, and I always try to get them deer before I get myself a deer. And so I took my 9-year-old at the time, he's 10 now, but I'm like, let's do this. Like, let's go on the ground. And that's a whole different thing, because he's got a crossbow and a tripod and all this stuff I'm lugging around. But it was insane. And we had so many close encounters, and I was kind of like frustrated at it because he passed up like 3 bucks. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we're on the ground, like 5 yards away from these deer, and you're 9, like, shoot them. But he didn't. And he ended up getting one later on, long story. But anyway, what I felt in those moments too, of just being like so close and matching wits. And I think I had this idea in my head of like, man, if you want to get it done, you got to be up in a tree. Like, you're going to mess it up on the ground. Well, even with a 9-year-old, we could have got it done on the ground. And the adrenaline part that you guys were talking about, and JD was like, what's the difference? I can tell you from a 9-year-old's perspective, twice he goes, Dad, that was so cool. I actually thought I was going to pee my pants, like, for real.
There you go. From a 9-year-old. That's great.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I have this question in my mind because I want to try this. I haven't had a lot of experience with it. In the Midwest, I would say, when I hunt mule deer in South Dakota, it's all from the ground, and you get a similar flare to that, but it's a different context because it's open and you're stalking more. If I go with one of you guys, or if you get an intern, what are the key things that you're like drilling into their head before they follow you or go on the ground hunt with you? Like, what are you like? You got 10 minutes in the car with this dude or gal, and you're like, okay, listen, you absolutely have to keep this in mind when you're hunting from the ground. What are those things?
I would say having room to move, because like a lot of times you set up and the deer comes in at just the wrong angle. And if you can get yourself in a position where you can clear leaves out to where you can make a quick move when a deer goes behind a tree, or if you can make a quick move on the camera where you can like go from right shoulder to left shoulder, I think that's because a lot of times, I mean, same as in the tree, the deer doesn't come in exactly how you want them to. And if you're set up in a tight area or in a little ground blind that you can't maneuver your body without making any noise, a lot of times that busts you. Yeah. I mean, the other thing would be like keeping your eyes on the deer and knowing when they're looking at you and when they're distracted with what you can get away with. I think a lot of times you can make moves when you're within 20 yards of a deer if they're just distracted. And if you can see the deer and read the deer's body language, a lot of times you feel comfortable moving around.
It's good. It's good. Mac, would you add anything?
Yeah, I would say if you're filming, like the best shot you can get as a camera guy is like right down the bow or right down the gun. So if you can mirror basically the hunter that you're filming, like I would just, if I had a new person filming me, I'd just say, just stay like right on my right hip and just stay over that shoulder. And I don't know, just kind of mirror what I do. And I don't know. Yeah. It's just, kind of got to feel it out. Like what Cole's saying too, with, making sure you have enough space to make a move to, if a deer is going to do something a little wonky.
Yeah, a lot of times too, you don't necessarily need a ton of cover versus like the right lighting. If you can get in the shade, a lot of times that'll save you. I mean, when that buck that I shot, we were just on the side of the tree that was shaded in that cedar bush. I mean, we were standing in front of the tree, like we had no front cover, but because we were in the shade, that contrast to light, I think is a big thing in a deer's eyesight is the shade. Same with the turkey.
Yeah. Really. I think as a hunter too, on the ground, you have to kind of be able to get the sights on the animal quickly. Like you're not going to be able to sit there and hold back on them for a long time because your window of opportunity is going to be pretty small, and you got to take it when they give it to you, and don't hesitate. I think.
Yeah, I'd definitely practice. I'd practice shooting in weird positions, like from your knee, from one knee crouched over. I definitely did that
between the legs.
I was like a trick shot between the legs.
Yeah. Off a horse.
Quick draw.
It's like that's like Cole Booth on the basketball court. Trick shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to shift in for those of us who follow you guys now or subscribed, loved what we saw this year. I really appreciate your work, but I'm curious what you guys want to do in the future. Like, what do you dream about doing together? More if this thing keeps growing and you guys get more opportunity to put more time into this, what kind of experiences do you guys want to chase?
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal, is to be able to do it full time down the road. And I think we took a really good step this year after it was kind of the first fall really that us as like a collective could focus on putting out videos for Gone All Season, just because we had been with internships and full time with other brands.
Yeah.
I mean, before the season started, we were like, well, even turkey season really was our first turkey season that we could do it. So we had a full year, and I think we took a good step in the right direction. But I think personally, I would like to just be able to do it full time and apply the way we hunt and like show the fun aspects and what hunting is, what we believe is the best part about hunting is spending time with your friends, messing around, making memories. And it's not necessarily about shooting big deer. We ended up shooting a couple big deer this year, but honestly, if a nice 3-year-old 8-pointer walks by me on the ground next year, there's a pretty good chance he's getting shot. Just because it's for us, it's about the experience and just going out there as average hunters and having a great time.
That's great.
Yeah. Just not taking ourselves too seriously, I'd say.
It's good. It's good. All right, guys, we're going to close with a fire round. As we do, we're going to ask you guys some spitfire questions. We have done extensive research and have narrowed in on the best fire round questions. That is 100% sarcasm. This is coming 100% off the top of our heads. So get ready. Here you go. And I'm going to make Johnny go first.
Okay. Favorite or must-have non-essential piece of hunting gear you take with you? So like not your bow, like favorite non-essential hunting gear you have with you.
Toilet paper.
Same.
There it is.
Or dude wipes. Dude wipes actually.
Yeah, dude wipes.
Put me on those.
There you go. There you go.
Man.
Next sponsor of gas, Dude Wipes.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I got another one.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Butt outs. You guys ever used a butt out before?
No. Enlighten us.
I tell you
what is this?
It's a deer gutting essential.
Okay.
You'd have the viewers look up what a butt out is, a demonstration video. I could describe it. You basically it's for getting the butt out of the deer.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
Careful where you Google that.
Yeah,
careful where you go. Nice. Cole, what about for you, man?
That one might not make the final cut.
Most everything does.
Great.
I would have to say probably this little $8 garden snips that I bought this year, because when I was on the ground on private where you're allowed to cut stuff, I mean, just snipping 2 twigs to have a shooting lead. I'd never really thought about it, but it's way quieter and way easier to do versus having to snap.
Saw. Yeah. Smart. Very good. All right. You guys are Wisconsin boys. So number one quick trip item when on a hunting trip?
Probably just, I could say coffee, but that's obvious. I like those apple turnovers. They got a great selection of donuts at Quick Trip. You can go in there and get, a Danish. You can get a turnover. You can get a fritter. The muffins are phenomenal.
Concur. Yeah. I concur.
I'm a big sweets for breakfast type person, so I like that aspect of Quick Trip.
It's good.
I'm going to say Louisiana style sunflower seeds.
The seeds. Yes.
That's important. Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm a Giants guy. I like Giants a lot. I really do like those ones. Yeah.
There's this Louisiana style sunflower seed. I don't know if it was Bigs or Giants, but we had it in South Dakota and it was just unbelievable. You could not stop eating them.
Yep. I love it. Love it.
I have to check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. Johnny, what do you got?
Okay. So it seems like between, the two of you and Brett, your guys' camaraderie, your relationship is super tight and you're all easygoing guys, but who is the most easygoing, as in sometimes you got to be like, dude, we got to get going.
Yeah, by far, Brett.
I'd say Brett probably.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, he's he's a putzer when it comes to the morning.
Man.
He's always the last out of bed, the last to get dressed by far.
I hope Brett watches this.
I hope we get him back one episode and then we can confront him on it.
Yeah.
His putzing. We'll give him a chance to respond. All right. So this is a total fictional thing, but some super wealthy hunter dude finds a Gone All Season YouTube channel, freaking loves what you do, and says, I want to get you guys on a plane somewhere to do a hunt. Where are you going? All expenses paid.
I would love to go to Alaska. Somewhere in Alaska. Actually, here's what I would do. I'd go somewhere in the plains of like southern Canada, like Saskatchewan or Manitoba, and do like a big whitetail plains spot stock hunt on a big Canadian buck whitetail. That's what I'd do.
Love it.
Not that I've thought about.
I was gonna say a Canadian buck too, but
Yeah.
I mean, like a coveted New Mexico elk hunt would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be sick.
Word.
Any
that would
elk
be-
hunt would be sweet.
Word.
hopefully we can draw some elk tags in the next couple of years, getting our points.
It's good.
Yep.
All right. Here's a bonus feature of that. A hunter that you admire gets to go with you on that hunt. Who is it? That you don't currently know,
That I
but
don't
admire.
know.
Yeah.
We don't currently know.
Well, I mean that you know of, but don't
Yeah,
currently
yeah.
personally know. I
Hmm.
thought you were going to be like Chansey and what's his name from Whitetail Adrenaline, like that.
I mean, definitely those guys, but I
Yeah.
know those guys, so
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I would say those guys. I don't know those guys.
Yeah,
There-
honestly, if I could go on a rifle hunt with Jared and his brother Jim, that would be a lot of fun. Those two guys love to goof around and make
Yeah.
jokes with each other. I think we'd get along well.
Good times. Good
Awesome.
times. Johnny, you got another one or should we wrap it?
I think we're going to wrap it. Yep.
Sweet. Well, guys, this has been so much fun. Really appreciate you guys. Can't wait to follow along with, I'm sure, turkey stuff you got coming this spring and next year. Thanks so much for all the hard work you put in this year and what you gave us access to. And thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
guys.
A lot of fun.
Good talking to you.
Definitely got to do it again.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Behind the scenes bonus banter.
Hey, what's up, Cole?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Check it,
I-
man. Check
I
it.
already,
Hell yeah.
I did not get the memo,
Yeah.
dude.
Well,
My
you did not
skull
get a
feels
hat.
Very, very naked right now. What the heck?
Hopefully,
I gotta go grab it.
hopefully Matt gets on here with the same hat.
That would
Be legitimate.
be
Then you can
absolutely
really
brilliant.
feel like a loser, JD.
I feel like I would have to like superimpose it, like just edit it in here the whole time or something. Cole, how are you, man?
Finally, I'm closing up hunting season. Just got back from Ohio muzzleloader, so
Oh,
it's kind
nice.
of a last little run, which was a lot of fun. But turkey season.
Were you guys doing drives with the THP
Yeah.
crew?
Yeah, we
Oh,
went.
nice.
We were down there Friday through Tuesday. Yeah, with
Okay,
the
super
THP
fun.
guys, and then Roy and some of the Just Hunt Club guys were there as well,
Nice.
Nice.
and then a bunch of Zach's buddies.
You don't have
What
to
a
give anything
crew.
away, but did some bucks hit the ground?
Yeah, Mac actually killed the first buck of the weekend, which was
Heyo.
super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we killed 3 more, so we had 4 total. And then there was one of them was really nice, biggest one that's ever been shot on the drive. So
That's
Dang.
awesome.
yeah, in the same drive that buck got killed, and probably like I don't know, I'm not good at inches, but just for reference, like a 140 to 145 inch 8-point came by Zach's dad, and he forgot to put a primer in.
No.
Stopped at 15 yards.
Oh, 15.
My
Yeah.
gosh, dude.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it was a ton of fun. I mean, other than that, Zach missed one, and then the last day, just a couple close calls, but the first couple days were really good.
That's awesome,
That's sweet,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, those drives are a lot of fun. They're a lot of thinking and coordination, but when everybody plays their role, it works out pretty good.
Mac, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Oh, Cole, he didn't wear the same hat.
Yeah, he's got the
We're-
new one on.
That's sweet, man.
There you go.
I saw that post on your guys' story on Instagram with the hat. I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gotta
Yeah.
support you guys. Cole and I hit it off last year when I found out I coached in the state tournament against his sister. They beat us in the state semis, and I go down to Sheboygan quite a bit, so Yeah.
Yeah, your
Small world.
patch is a little bit wider than mine. Mine's
I
pretty
know.
dirty.
Well, yeah, and I got this light shining on it, and yeah.
We're super professional, obviously. We're using like the lamps we have on hand and
Yeah.
different things.
I just hung up some Christmas tree lights actually to give myself some more lighting here.
That's
There you go.
wonderful.
It's what you do.
Yeah.
I think I'm currently using the tripod Big 10 sent with a crossbow we tested this year as my camera tripod for my phone right now. So you use what you can.
That's right.
Use what you can.
Yep.
That's good, dude. Mac, we just heard you downed one in Ohio this past weekend.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, I was pretty lucky. Got on like the second drive of the trip, and it was just kind of slow, and then all of a sudden it was like over.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
yeah. Cole's like, somebody should get a tag from our group, and you're like, well, I'll get one, and then we ended up
There you
getting
go.
one, and ended up working out.
How does it work with Ohio muzzleloader? Is that over the counter, or do you have to?
Yeah, it's just over the counter. They increased the prices a lot this year. Actually, I think what was it,
Yeah.
Mac?
About $400 because you got to get the habitat,
Yeah.
or you got to get the hunting license, and then a deer license, and then like a habitat stamp, I believe, as well.
Nice. Well, you guys feeling comfortable tech wise? Any questions? Sorry, this is so late. We've got kids. Each of us got 3 kids that are upstairs in our respective homes, soon to be in bed. So this is why we do it at this time. So we appreciate you doing it at a weird hour.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Did Cole tell you a little bit about who we are, or do you have questions about that?
I actually watched the podcast he did with you guys last year, and
Nice.
thought it was pretty cool. I actually reached out to him and asked him where you guys were out of, and I was like, it was a good podcast. You guys are good. You guys get good podcast voice.
Nice.
JD has the best voice in all of radio right now, I think.
He does, yeah.
He doesn't he?
He's
Well,
got
if
that
you want-
melodic voice.
Gosh, it's like red velvet.
Spread the word. If you want me to do any spots, I will. Radio spots. Yeah, dude, this is fun. We try to just keep it pretty informal, have fun with it.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
How's that
And
sound?
someone sing.
I can hear someone singing.
I can hear someone singing.
That's my dad. God damn it.
That's fantastic.
I'll leave him in.
He's
They're getting
got a
ready to
great
go to
voice,
Montana
whoever that
tomorrow.
was.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The joys of being
Yeah.
a semi-homeless content creator, huh?
Yeah. It's something else. That's for sure.
Did Cole tell you when you joked about that in one of your videos? I texted him and I was like, dude, is he actually homeless? Because I have a duplex in Minneapolis that, he can come sleep at if he needs to.
No, it's kind of been a running joke now because like Brett and I are like 2 guys that are just like kind of homeless. Nobody has we don't have like our own places yet, doing the freelance deal right now. So yeah, it's just a running joke, but it's funny you reached out to him.
Before we really get going too, I did want to, and Cole, I know I texted you about it before, but I just want to say thanks for sending pins when I was down in Sheboygan and I asked you. That was just a fun exploration trip for me, and because I'm down at my in-laws quite a bit, and I'm always like, man, if I could like hunt down here, that would be great. And it was good to test that nested system, and really appreciate you throwing me some pins. I got on deer right away, which was great. So
Yeah, I mean,
In Sheboygan?
honestly,
yeah.
around there,
What
you're
the
doing
hell?
pretty good if you see it.
Well, it's funny because I ran into 4 guys on my way out, like at the parking lot, and they were like, asking me a bunch of questions, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not from here. I just came down. I found some public land and I decided to try it. And they're like, oh, well, good luck because we don't see anything here. I'm like, did you guys see anything at all tonight? And they're like, nope, haven't in like 3 days. And I was like, oh, I saw 4 deer and could have shot all of them. But anyway, yeah. So
it's
you
not
put me,
about what you know. It's about who you know.
Well, Cole put me on a good spot, and then I just scouted around, and I was like, well, this seems to make sense, and it did. But it was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, the deer density on there is just not like it is in the western part of the state whatsoever.
Sure.
There's just so many more hunters over there too. Like there's not a lot of deer, and there's a lot more population on that side of the state with like Sheboygan and Milwaukee and Green Bay right there.
Yeah, for sure. But it was fun, so I appreciate it again, man. Thanks.
No problem.
That's actually the second time both Johnny and I hunted on pins that guests sent us. When I was in Illinois, I hunted on pins that Derek, the guy who does the thermal drones, sent me. I sent him where I was going to go, and he just like in super detail too sent me like 40 pins of this huge piece of public. I was like, this is amazing. We shot a doe. The guy who was with me shot a doe in, I don't know, like half hour or something like that from jumping on, setting up right on one of the pins. It was awesome.
That's sweet.
I can't tell if you're laughing at your dad still singing in the background or if you're laughing at
No, I'm just trying to keep it together here. I'm going to probably laugh at myself. So
that's great. We're all for it. How's the new year coming off for you? Is it good?
Yeah. Busy with, it's like hockey is all the time, which is fun. I mean, it makes the winter go by faster, but yeah.
And you're coaching Jude's team too?
Wesley's team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wesley's team. Got it.
But yeah, so they're always asking for like, parent volunteers, and I have extensive coaching background, but not in hockey. But the great news is hockey is just like soccer on ice, tactically and all that stuff. It's like so similar. So
yeah, I bet
the tactics are really easy to coach from that perspective. And, coach high schoolers for 20 some years. It's been coaching youth now for a couple, and it's fun. They're so different. There's like my high schoolers like 14 to 18, and these kids, and that's what I teach too, obviously, but then these kids are like 6 to 10, and the ones on Wesley's team are like specifically like 7 and 8 pretty much, and not that many years apart, but boy, is it different.
Yeah.
It's fun. We have a lot of fun.
That's cool, man. That's a wrap, boys. Thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Hey there, thanks for watching this video. I'm JD, founder and crew member of the HUNTXP team. We're so grateful that you took time to watch this video, and hopefully it's helping you level up your hunting game. That's what we and our community is all about, and we want to invite you into this growing community of hunters. It's all about leveling up each other's hunting game. So the first thing you can do is like and subscribe, but even more than that, we got some fun things going on over at our website, huntxp.com. We'd love for you to join our community there and stay connected with what we're doing, what we're working on, and we'd love to hear about what you're after. So thank you for watching this video. We'll see you next time.